Hey, Mike Burris here, Spirit Music Meetups. We just got done with part 2, which was 3-stroke and 4-stroke Ruffs. But now, and we want to watch those part 1 and part 2, because part 1 was the simple stroke, the single strokes, and then going into the flam. But we're expanding, we're building on this, and now we're using just simply a double for the grace note. And this creates a drag. It's called a drag. Kind of like you're dragging into the principal note. And again, remember these have no time value, so you can no defined or definite time value. So you can play around with how close these are, how close they are to the stroke that has to be in time to whatever you're playing in the music. These have to fit in between the other notes. And then if you expand it, you have 3-stroke rudiment. They call this a front side, and it's because it starts with the left. They say it's a left front side triplet. It's 3 strokes. They can make it into a triplet. Triplet is technically a numeric time value rhythm name, but they sometimes trade, between strokes, rudiments, and notes. So in this case, they call it a triplet. I wouldn't call it a triplet, but I would just call it a 3-stroke group. So here we go. We're going to expand it and gradually speed it up. So left, left, and we're going to keep the accent on the end, so it sounds the same. But remember from the previous videos, you can change the accents when you get into these expanded rudiments. And I'm just creating a very uneven rhythm out of it. 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So I'm putting a space in there to make it uneven. Now this is even. So I'm having to use my fingers when you go faster to, you don't have to, but I'm using thumb and fingers, all kinds of techniques. You want to go look at the techniques page for that, the mechanics of drumming. But match grip. So again, isolate the 2 sounds. You got taps, just taps. That's all they are, right? Taps. And this is rebound strokes or full strokes. So that's how you isolate the sounds, make sure you're doing your strokes okay. So now you're going to compress or contract those 2 little notes. Get them closer and closer. Now sometimes they call this a rudimental drag because you can hear those. There's double strokes. They're not buzzed. That's the next one coming up called orchestral drag. There's techniques to do this. I lightly keep my fingers on, and I pull those fingers in. It makes the second stroke. So I'm throwing the stick down, it bounces, and then I pull the fingers in. Because I can't use momentum. I can't come up here because they're grace notes. Remember, grace notes are sagging. They're 1 inch off the drum, so the stick is slanting. See that? See how it's slanting? It's not flat. That's flat, believe it or not. That's flat. That's flat. That's too loud. You might get away with it out on the marching field, but you say, well, little volume difference doesn't matter. Well, actually, the closer you get to the head, the faster it is. So it's going to get there to the principal stroke sooner. So if you want a really contracted, really compressed sound, you're going to have to get closer to the head. Remember, you want to be on one side. You can tell I'm sitting too low. I was really set up for it. But I'm not as fast on my left hand. So I'm going to have to go down to 1 finger on the stick to pull it in because these are too slow for me right now. need to practice. I've been sick for the whole summer. I've had a lot of issues. But, so alternating, you change things. Remember, this is going to become an upstroke now. These are going to become upstrokes. It's going to go like this. And now that's a downstroke. It's no longer a rebound. See, now it's slanted. When I come down for the downstroke, I get right into the slant position. It's right into the slant position. So I'm watching, again, in mirrors to see if this is coming down and coming controlled stroke, controlled downstroke into a slanted position. So my weak side, I can feel it. It's this side. I still feel like I'm too low. It's just my fingers. I worked out in the yard a lot, and it hurts my hands. It slows my hands down. So I got to practice, guys. Woo, how do we get better? Remember the shirt? How do we get better? It says on the back, practice, practice, practice. But that's really negative. Who wants to practice? Who wants to work? I want to have fun. Let's play, play, play. Let's do that instead. So that is the drag or rudimental drag, because the next one's become orchestral drag. Some people way long time ago called it the half drag because they have a rudiment called the drag tap. And unfortunately, the early books did not call the drag tap. They called it the drag. So then they had to call this thing the half drag. So they got all messed up. People make mistakes. So the next thing we want to learn, oh, by the way, yeah, so we know that. So if you drag out the, that double or press into the drum, they call it press roll, you press into it, you buzz it, you multiple bounce it, right? That's going to turn it into what's called an orchestral drag. And if you expand it, you just have a buzz tap. Basically just a buzz tap. Buzz tap, buzz tap. So you have this. So you're going to press in that grace note, has no definite time value. You're just going to let it turn into multiple bounce or buzz or press roll and zda. And they use this in orchestras and concert band. It's a cleaner sound, and actually it's a dirtier sound. So, but it has that nice buzz sound, you know. Let's see if I can do this on a drum. Of course, you're not going to have all this ring. I usually put mufflers on it. So you're going to, all right? So you're going to get a buzz. Practice each side separately. And then alternate. It's going to change your rudiments. Now, if you come up high instead of, this buzz is supposed to be down here, you kind of have to use your arms to do this. You can use your fingers. You have to have all your fingers pretty much off, right? You can't have any of your fingers on there if it's going to buzz. So, but if you expand it, you can bring that up. That's not an orchestral drag. That is the principal note. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's not. That is a different rudiment, right? These are called a buzz tap. That's what I would call it. Buzz tap. Now you can use that great in like second line drumming, New Orleans drumming. being able to buzz. I think it's really nice in jazz. And when you take this off and you get it all rattly, and you know, it's really nice. Let's do that a little bit. Let's do that. Put this on here. Get it nice and rattly. A little bit too much rattle. You know, just really music's what dictates what you're going to do, right? I'm just kind of like goofing around here. So it doesn't sound very good at all without the music, right? Music's what makes drumming sound good, in my opinion. So that is called the orchestral drag, or I guess you could call it orchestral half drag. And that is the end of this page that we started in way back in part 1. It goes all the way down. And this is what I give to my students here at my home studio. And now we want to go get into page 2, which is echoes. Now we're going to deal with echoes. So we'll go on to the next video for that. So that would be part 4, I think. God bless you. Put your comments down below. And this way you can spread the love. It's a community where we can help each other. Look forward to it. Bye-bye.